Good. All right, I'm on live today. Let me get my hair right. Gotta get right. We're going live, so I know I'm here to answer questions, um, talk about different credit issues, credit questions that you may have. I know I was going to do a video on my master dispute package. Just everything is in it. I get emails about it. What's in the package? How could it help me? So this is definitely a platform for you can ask those questions. But if you have any questions you want to ask me, here go the platform. The door is open. And then it's time to keep it real about credit. So, how to remove a bankruptcy. So, there's a lot of steps to remove a bankruptcy. Step number one, before you do anything, is pull your LexisNexis account. You want to pull any third parties that may be reported: LexisNexis, Stagestream, CoreLogix, Advanced Resolution Services. You want to pull all your third parties. First thing you want to do, you want to review them. You want to look and see what if that bankruptcy is reporting. How is it reporting on them? Once you figure that, okay, I got my bankruptcies reporting on certain third parties, you want to dispute. You're going to get a lot of people say freeze it. I don't believe in freezing. I believe in going after them, making them prove the bankruptcy is theirs. So I would start disputing. But before you start disputing the bankruptcy, there's two things you have to look at. Have you moved from that location that the bankruptcy was filed? If you've moved, then you want to dispute and get that address removed. It's a little more difficult if you're still living at the same address that you that you filed the bankruptcy, right? So you definitely want to remove that date. I mean, excuse date. Remove that uh, uh, address from your third parties. Then you want to start disputing. Now, you also want to go look at Pacer. You need to call Pacer, get the instructions on how to set up an account so you can actually view your bankruptcy. You want to view your bankruptcy. What's up, David? So you definitely want to view your bankruptcy and look at it, see all the information. Is any of that information inaccurate? You also want to go on and you want to look up the 9037 rule of bankruptcy procedures. You definitely want to look up the rule of 9037. It's powerful because your privacy is also is being restricted in court documents. They do not have your full social security number. They do not have your full date of birth. They don't have a full account numbers. So you can use that rule of 9037 when you're disputing, or how can you actually say this bankruptcy is mine? Because the rule of 9037 says you don't have my full bank social security number. You don't have you don't have the uh any my birth date. You don't have my full birth date, all that. So that's something else you can use in your disputing process, right? So make sure that you that you use that rule, right? So uh there's so much more to that bankruptcy. You got to make sure all your accounts are not linked, that says linked to bankruptcy. Once you get all that stuff taken off your uh and I did a video on this. After you take everything off the third parties and you got that removed, now you before you start disputing on the big three, you need to remove their addresses there. You need to remove any accounts that say linked to bankruptcy. You need to get a letter from the courts saying that they don't uh, communicate with credit reporting agencies, and then you just really need, from that point, you really need to start putting all that information together and then put it in a strong dispute letter to the credit bureaus. Remember, TransUnion use LCI, so you definitely have to dispute LCI. You're not going to be able to freeze it even if you wanted to, but you definitely need to dispute, have them send you that credit report and dispute the information on there. So it's a lot of steps. It's tedious. Doesn't mean it's going to work. Sometimes it work with some credit reporting agencies and difficult for other ones, but you really have to just continue to do your due diligence, remove any information that could be linked to that bankruptcy, and you have a good chance of getting it removed. But it is a challenge. All right, what else we got? What else we got? Come on now, y'all got to come better than that. There's Pacer and materially prepares for at least 3 rounds. During COVID, a lot of people are not talking about this, but because of COVID, I would talk to a consumer lawyer because you can freeze your bankruptcy account, right? And maybe during COVID and everything that happened in COVID, especially if you file bankruptcy in COVID, I would probably try to challenge to see if I could get that account frozen, right? Where it can't be accessible, right? Maybe something you can look at and talk to your consumer lawyer about. Late payments. The main thing about late payments is you're going to have to get all of your credit reports and line them up together. And you need to circle when there is one credit bureau saying one thing, another credit bureau saying another thing, another credit bureau saying another thing. It's really all about lining that out. For example, Experian says you're okay. TransUnion says you're late 30 days, and then Experian says you're late 60 days, hypothetically. When you're doing your dispute letter, you're going to say, I am disputing the inaccurate late payment. Equifax, right, is saying that I was on time. Experian was saying I was on time. TransUnion said I was 30 days late. And then Experian says I'm 60 days late. So the creditor is reporting inaccurate information between the three credit bureaus. So how can you verify that I was late on that payment, right? So you just got to really kind of line it out. What I usually do is I usually put down so if I'm disputing with Experian, I'm gonna start off with Experian. The Experian said I was okay. So I'm disputing the one from TransUnion, or the one from Experian. I'm all over the place. The one from Experian and the one for Equifax. You really want to line them all out. You really want to line out 1, 2, 3, and you want to show them how each one is different. The other thing is I always like to dispute with the original creditors, right? Too, because they're the one providing the information, right? And if you got 3 different inaccuracies, you want to really go after the original creditors for reporting inaccurate information. You can go after, I would say, with late payments, you definitely want to go after credit bureaus first to see if they would remove the late payments. But what I always do, and I'm gonna write this down because I be getting all over the place, talking too fast. TransUnion says okay. Experian says 30 days. Equifax say okay. When I dispute, I'm gonna dispute with Experian. I'm gonna say I'm disputing this inaccurate 30-day late payment in October of 2020. And then I'm gonna say TransUnion is reporting that I was on time in October of 2020. Equifax is reporting that I'm on time in 2020. right? So how am I late? How a TransUnion reported me late in the same month? So please investigate this inaccurate late payment. You really gotta kind of lay it out like that. Late payments could be difficult just because creditors would be hollering about that they have to report accurate information, but it can't be accurate if all your credit bureaus are reporting different information, or two of them reporting one thing and one of them is reporting something else. You really just have to pull all your credit reports together and look and see how you can strategize with getting them to understand that you wasn't late based on how they're being reported on your credit report. That's really the best way. Late payments are kind of hard, but they're not impossible, right? The older they are, the easier it is to get them off. The newer they are, the harder it is to get them off. So as they become older, they are less impactful on your credit score, but they're easier to get off. Uh, does everybody understand FICO scores? I think a lot of people really don't understand FICO scores. So you definitely need to understand what you're applying for. I'm doing a video on the best ways to try to put some positive information on your credit report, right? Places that don't really pull credit like Grain and uh Extra, you have companies and what they call fintech companies that are now doing more on yeah, actually there's like 30. I think there's a total of 30 or 33 different FICO scoring modules, right? There are a lot of them. And the thing most people that don't understand is that when they're applying for credit, they'll just pull up their credit report and Experian and say, well, I have a 680, but they're applying for a credit card. There is a FICO credit score, right, for your credit cards, right? So you have to look and see, well, what is my credit card FICO score for a FICO 8? Now, remind you, a FICO 8 pulls all the credit bureaus. A FICO 9 pulls all the credit bureaus, right? But each one has different ways how they're scoring the data on your credit report, right? So you got to understand, first of all, what kind of FICO scoring module they're pulling. And then you need to understand, well, my FICO 8 says I only got a 640. Now you still need to start investigating, okay, what type of credit cards am I going to try? Don't try to apply for a Chase with a 640, a Citibank, a Discover card. Some of those high-end cards, do not try to apply with a 640. You need to be in a good range, right? And then you need to be careful on how many inquiries you have, because too many inquiries, they would deny you, saying that you're trying to get too much new credit in a short period of time, right? So you got to be careful when you're dealing with some of those bigger cards. The other thing, you got to be careful on not putting too many subprime cards on your credit report. Your credit report, when they look at your credit, they see that you have a lot of subprime cards, would indicate you have subprime credit. So you have to be careful with that. So I'm big on developing relationships with your credit unions, your banks, getting a secure card with your banks, get some kind of credit builder loan with your banks or credit union, so you can work in and build confidence for them to give you those type of cards. At the same time, removing that negative information off your credit report. Listen, building credit takes time. You're gonna have a lot of people that tell you they can take your score from a 600 to a 800. Man, if you want to believe that, man, I got some land in Florida I can sell you. It doesn't work that way, right? It doesn't work that way. Yes, Chase has the 524 rule, which saying 5 credit cards in 24 months, that you've opened up 5 lines of credit in 24 months. So you definitely got to be careful with, your inquiries. You got to build a relationship and understand it's just building your credit report and letting the negative items be, and try to remove the negative items and overshadow negative items with building positive credit. It takes time, man. That's the biggest thing. It just takes time. Yeah. Yeah, for real. I mean, a lot of times people are just, even on YouTube, man, people are just selling wolf, like they say, wolf tickets, right? A lot of stuff that just is inaccurate, or it may have happened for one person, and then they want to say it can happen for everybody. Everybody's credit report is different. The things you reported on it is different. The region you live in may affect you. Demographics may affect you. It's just so much, man. So just understand it takes time. He said, "What do you say?" Gregory said, my bankruptcy after was being discharged. It is easy to remove it or wait to 24. No, I would listen. I wouldn't wait, Gregory. Try to remove it. If it's been discharged, try to remove it. The older a bankruptcy get, the less impactful it is on your score. So I had a chapter 13, and listen, when it fell off my credit report, but I had been building my credit rep from the very start. When I first applied for my bankruptcy, I started building my credit, right? And I started off with a finger hut. I bought a car that was like 18% interest because I knew that I needed to start getting positive history put. But what I did is I made 2 payments on my car to draw the interest payment down and get it paid off. I did that. I opened up some secure cards. Then once I got that, I opened up some subprime cards. And then after that, I just was adding credit, paying on time, adding credit. And then as I got into getting better cards, like with Navy Federal, because I'm retired military, I got a Navy Federal Gold Rewards, Navy Federal Cash. I got a Discover card. Uh, uh, Man, I probably have about 20 something credit cards now, right? And then I got rid of those subprime cards. I closed those accounts because I didn't want them to be opened accounts, and I got rid of those accounts. And now I only have, like, PayPal. I do have some Synchrony cards. I have some store cards. I have some fuel cards. I have all that, but I also have credit cards on my business side. So uh, you definitely want to just take the time and build your credit report, right? Some people try to build it too fast. Now you got 20 something inquiries. Now you're trying to get inquiries removed. And there are ways to get your inquiries moved. That the Experian hack works. I've done it. uh you can't get them removed, but it's just a process, and going through all of that. So yeah, and that's good. See, that's reasonable. Like David said, it took him 5 years to go from a 695 to a 832. Age of credit is right. Is That's the other thing. The older your credit is, the better you off. And when you build it, try to find family members with an old, low balance, high credit limit credit card to be an authorized user on. If you do that, you'll be straight. You'll start off in the good. And also, man, even with your kids, like with my youngest daughter, my wife's daughter, we started working on her credit. I started adding her to cards. When she was 19, she had a 720 credit score. And then I had her open up some cards, and I had to open up a card in her name, and then I would put all my cards on her credit report, and she had like a 720, right? And I put her in a good situation. So you definitely want to have 8 years. I always say, like, 8 years or more of length of credit. You want to keep your utilization under 10%. Learn how to pay your credit cards on the statement date, not the due date. Find out when the statement date is, because that's the date they apply interest, report to the credit bureaus, right? That's when they start doing that. So if you find out your statement date, pay on your statement date, right? Then that balance never hits your credit report, right? Uh, Shay says, hi, what about old addresses tied to collection? Experience giving me such a hard time moving an incorrect address. So addresses, you definitely need to go to your Nexus Lexis, your Nexus Lexis report, and you need to, because I'm sitting up here trying to read and talk at the same time. You need to go to your LexisNexis and try to remove those addresses from there first. You cannot remove an address. It's so hard removing addresses straight from the credit bureaus because the only way they can even verify that address is to go to a third party. They're not going to no court records. They're not going. The only place they can get that information is from a third party. So you have to remove those old addresses from the third party. Uh, I know when I didn't remove my address from the third party trial. They did not want to remove it on Experian. But soon as I removed it from LexisNexis and I disputed it, they had to remove it because they couldn't verify it. It was not on that account. So if you have it on a third party and even Stagestream, look at Stagestream. Those third parties is the key to removing things. Phone numbers, like credit bureaus have got to a point now they're trying to validate information off your phone numbers. So now if you have changed your number, you no longer had that number. And I would say if your credit is in bad shape, you need to get a new phone number, you need to get new addresses, you need to try to find new information to get that stuff so you can get that stuff deleted off. So how can they verify that stuff? They can't verify that stuff, right? So the I got it. I did free. So I don't believe in freezing because no, you do not know if they're backdooring that system and being able to view your information. To me, dispute it off of there. Get it off. You don't have to freeze it. You don't have to be worried about unfreezing your credit reports. I'm big on disputing it off. Like some people just tell you freeze, but all those people, I can't even tell you if I don't work for the credit bureaus, so I can't give you a definite answer that they cannot backdoor and look at that information. So, but I can tell you if it's not on that credit report, they can't see it because it ain't there. So again, I try to tell people I'm different in my approach. You're gonna get people on, YouTube that may say, just freeze it. I'm just not a freeze person, right? I believe if you go in and you dispute it and you get it off your credit report, off those third parties, when they go look at it, they can't see it. Yeah, so like David said, yeah, if they seen it before, like I just don't believe them, man. I just believe that the credit bureaus got access to that information and they're gonna backdoor it and see it. And every time you dispute something and they verify it, the credit bureaus are like, we already seen that information, we already verified it twice, it's accurate. That's why I tell people like when y'all start disputing stuff, you got to have a game plan. And you got to be thinking about, okay, who else could have this information for one? I need to go and check who else has this information for two? And then I need to try to remove any information that the credit bureaus can go back and look at to try to verify what's on their credit report. Remember, so you got to have a plan when you're trying to dispute information, right? It's good with all the new stuff coming out with medical debts. That's great. They're going to be all paid medical debts and be coming off. But I tell people, don't wait. Start sending those dispute letters in, and the credit bureaus may just go ahead and start removing them because they know they're coming off. Also, let's say, so, and then they also, right, the next thing you need to look at, so they're going to remove and pay. right? And then they're going to be changing that medical debts can't go on there for 12 months. So now you got time to really strategize what you're going to be doing, right? And making sure that the medical facilities are uh, putting medical claims into your medical insurance and putting the right billing codes down and all that stuff. Uh, and then next year, any medical debts that are under 500 won't be reported at all anyway. So this is a great opportunity. Most collections are medical debt collections, right? So definitely, uh, you definitely got to start working on these medical debts to get to the, because more people have medical debts than mostly anything else. It says staging your credit is a priority. You are telling the truth before you dispute. Yeah, so you definitely need to just take the time, strategize, look at your credit report, take the time, make sure you're looking at all three items across from each other. How are they reporting? It's hard looking at like a TransUnion credit report, an Equifax credit report, and an Experian credit report. It's hard. So you really got to take your time and look at each count, try to line them up, try to get that information, circle which one is saying one thing, what's saying another, what's saying another, and then put together a strong dispute letter. Uh, and that's what I do. Like I get it all together, and then I take my time and look at each one, and then I look at how they're reporting, and then I look at, okay, how could I prove to this credit bureau that they're reporting inaccurate information? How could I prove to this credit bureau they're reporting inaccurate information? And I do that to each one, right? And then I look at other things. Like I'm deep, so when it comes to disputing with the credit bureaus, you have to go through the credit bureaus to sue, right? You can only sue when you dispute through the credit bureaus and the Fair Credit Reporting Act. But what I like to do is when I'm looking at all these different things reporting, I like to bring that to the attention of the original creditor, right? Hey, you're reporting a lot of inaccurate information on my credit report. And under section 1681 2-B is your responsibility to furnish accurate information. These are all I have found 11 different uh, inaccuracies reported between the three credit bureaus. Here they are, right? And I have disputed these inaccuracies with the credit bureaus, and uh, I've just hypothetically, you disputed and it came back verified. I disputed and got if this account has been verified. So how can this account be verified when I have 11 different entries that are inaccurate on my credit report? So like I like to send that to the original creditor, right? To put them on notice. Hey, you're at a point where I could actually take you to court for reporting inaccurate information, right? And then I'm gonna go at the credit bureaus and then I'm gonna dispute those things. I'm not gonna dispute every single thing I wrote to the original creditor. I'm just gonna dispute maybe one or two things. That's it, and then wait for a response. And then I'm going to ask for a method of verification. And then I'm going to dispute two more things, wait for a response. But I'm going to be communicating with the original creditor too to let them know, hey, I'm getting to a point where you're not correcting the inaccuracies on my credit report. So I need to take it to the next step. You'll get a bigger ear with the original creditor than you will with the credit bureaus. David E said only one name, only one address, not connected to your collection account. Phone number not collected. That just wait, just me only. Yep. Yeah, you want to try to get as many. When listen, if your credit report's at 750, you're over 700. Nobody's worried about all these different addresses. But when you're in the credit fixing mode and you're trying to repair, all that stuff matters. Getting any old information off your credit report matters. uh, so that's the wifey calling me, sorry. So uh, those are just some of the things you need to definitely do, right? Uh, Definitely look at your credit report. Collection accounts. Uh, Listen, there are multiple ways to skin a collection company. Look at their letters they send you. I talk about this all the time. Language. There is something called required language in a debt collection letter. There's certain things that has to be in that letter, or it's a violation, right? So me and the wife are going to have some sushi. So I'm definitely gonna have to cut this short. Mm. But anyway, uh, you definitely want to any with collection accounts. There's multiple ways to collect a medical debt or skin it. Collection accounts is so many different ways, right? I think what I need to do is just need to do a video on all the ways that you can go after a collection company for trying to get this information off your credit report or be able to settle the account to get it removed. I definitely need to do a video on that, but I'm gonna have to cut. I've been on here for 30 minutes. I appreciate y'all. Uh uh but we definitely uh I'm definitely gonna be doing another live video this week. Just because I'm cutting this one short and I don't like shortchanging people, but I'm probably doing another video this week. So for a lot of y'all, like I live in the Houston area, but I actually work in the Dallas area. So a lot of times during the week, so you don't see a lot of me putting out videos is just because I try to do it when I come home on the weekend and try to get with y'all. But uh just continue, man, to shoot me emails. Like if you ask anybody who emailed me, I will talk to you. I will give you information. I will take time out for you. I definitely want to help people. I'm passionate about helping people. If you have a credit journey, you don't know what to do, you feel like you're not getting all the right information, you want you want to dig deep. I do have a master dispute package. It's filled with tons of information. And even if you get it, I'm not going to leave you astray. If you buy it, you need help, I'm here to help you. I really want to help people. I've never been the type that's going to, I hear the stories of, yeah, I hired this person and never could reach him, never. I'm not that person. Uh, I do have a full time job, but my focus is I'm like me and my wife on other things. Like we're trying to open a Actually, right now we're trying to buy into a franchise. We're steady trying to grow uh, our financial wealth, but I'm passionate about this because I know where credit will take you. And maybe I probably need to just give you my journey, do a video on my journey and my wife's journey. And in 4 years, how our life has changed, how we started making better decisions, you know, buying a house, uh, doing things with that house, changing our credit. My wife probably have about 15 credit cards. I have about 20 credit cards. Uh, uh, but we don't use them like that. It's the access to money. We want to have that access to money, right? So we've made great investments. It's a lot of things, and in 4 years, our bank account doesn't look like it did 4 years ago, right? Because we've made some really, and credit has changed my process and my thought process on, how I deal. If it's not gonna push me forward, if that decision is gonna push me back, not forward, I have to find another decision to make. So, uh, yeah, if you have, just shoot me an email. If you have a question, because I know I'm saying usually I try to be on here an hour, a little bit more. If you have a question, email me here. If you have a email me. If you have a question, I try to get, like, I'm ex-military. Sometimes I'm up like 4 in the morning, just laying in the bed, wide awake. So, and a lot of times when it happen, I'll go through emails. I go through my YouTube, uh, and then I just start shooting people emails to their questions, right? So uh, just don't hesitate. I'm not gonna be the one that's gonna stray. I'm gonna give you the facts. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be sincere with you. I'm gonna tell you the truth. I'm not gonna be giving you no BS like a lot of these jokers be doing, because they be feeding a lot of people, and I just be shaking my head, right? And I know credit is frustrating, right? And I know repairing your credit is frustrating, and it doesn't always work the way we want it to work. But if you stay focused, have an open ear, listen to people that's going to give you real information, they ain't just spitting out the same thing, and dig. That's why I like to dig. You'll be fine. That's why people have bought my package. They be like, man, you deep on a lot of this information in there. And I've never had one person complain about it, because if they complain about it, I would give them their money back, right? So, but I have not had that. So it's great information. And I would tell them too, if you can find me a book or something that's giving you better information I give you, I definitely give you money back and won't question it. Because, but I dig in multiple ways. There's more than one way, man, to skin a cat and get your credit on point. It ain't just stuff out the Fair Credit Reporting Act. There's laws and other things that can be used against the creditor with uh, using the Fair Credit Reporting Act. So there's so many other things out there, man. So just if you got a question, I'm gonna give you all of it. I'm gonna give you all of it, right? So, y'all just watching my videos, y'all coming back, your success stories is what motivates me. What's making me take the time out, because I'm gonna tell you, man, I'm commuting. I'm trying to build, my family's wealth. We're trying, like I said, we're opening up stuff. I'm trying to do videos. I'm trying to make videos, and I'm still making time for y'all, because it's important for me to be able to help y'all. So, uh, that's where I'm coming from. But hey, email me. I appreciate y'all. And if you got any questions, hit me back. But I better go catch up with my wife here. She's gonna be going off. Happy wife, happy life. You know the deal. So I'm out.